Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle Caba, and thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about inbound marketing essentials, how to attract, engage, and win clients in order to grow your small business. So this is the team here at BizGap, and BizGap stands for Business Growth and Acceleration Program. So BizGap is part of our SBDC at FIU. And what is the Florida SBDC? It is a U.S. Small Business Administration resource partner that provides one-on-one business consulting, training, and information to small businesses in Miami-Dade and Monroe counties. Since the center started in 2014 through the end of 2022, the Florida SBDC at FIU team provided the following client outcomes in Miami-Dade County and the Florida Keys. We have completed 119, almost 120,000 hours in consulting, approximately 8,000 entrepreneurs and small business owners assisted, close to 500 businesses launched, 462 million in capital accessed, 259 million in government contracts secured, and 418 million in increased revenues. So what is BizGap? BizGap is the Business Growth and Acceleration Program, and it's an initiative that the Florida SBDC at FIU has run since 2016. BizGap is focused on providing hyperlocal consulting, training, and outreach to small businesses in targeted communities and commercial corridors. The program's underlying principle is to meet small businesses where they are in the community. Additionally, the project is designed to provide another tool in the toolkit for communities looking to better assist their businesses with startup assistance and business growth. BizGap has seen the following outcomes after partnerships with multiple communities in Miami-Dade County. 325 businesses contacted during in-person canvassing, 184 attendees from community trainings, 133 businesses consulted with 973 consulting hours, 550 jobs supported, 5 businesses launched, $670,000 in revenue increases, 557,500 in capital accessed, and 150,000 in local contracts obtained. The BizGap project in District 27 is funded by a grant from the U.S. Small Business Administration. Florida's 27th Congressional District encompasses the city of Miami, Key Biscayne, Coral Gables, and runs through Kendall down to Cutler Bay. According to the 2019 census estimates, Miami-Dade County's over 86,000 business establishments. 33,000 reside in District 27. So our objectives, we're focused on training, outreach, door-to-door canvassing, one-on-one business consulting, data mapping, and surveys of small businesses located in District 27. Our goal is to assist over 1,000 businesses in this district from January to December 2024. And that includes through assistance through business consulting and training workshops like today. So let's start. We're going to talk today about inbound marketing essentials. And I am one of the consultants here at BizGap through SBDC at FIU. I focus mostly helping my clients with brand development, marketing, and sales. So this is our agenda. I'm going to clarify what is inbound marketing. What are typical things that hold small business owners back from using inbound marketing? Your role as an owner, how to build a buyer persona, and I'm going to introduce you to the flywheel method, which is how to attract, engage, and delight your customers. And then we're going to talk about how to scale an inbound marketing strategy. In addition, I'll give you some examples of automation and technology. And the ever-old question for every small business owner is, how am I going to find time to do all these things? And so I'm going to show you how you will do that. So what is inbound marketing? Inbound marketing is a strategy where you're attracting, engaging, and retaining your customers through valuable content that you've created. And this valuable content you've actually tailored to the needs, the challenges, and the goals of your ideal customer. So, the whole point of inbound marketing is really to form connections because in today's economy, customers are seeking that connection with the brand and business that they're interested in or they're purchasing from. And of course, they want to see that you are solving their problems, the problems that they already have. So, what holds a small business owner back? The first one is, I mean, the most important one, and it's most businesses lack branding. And they do so because it takes so much time and deep work to really think about your values, really think about your messaging, really think about how you're going to present yourself to the world, right, for years to come, because branding is a long game. Second, it's the lack of time because inbound marketing is not just one tactic. It requires a series of tactics, each feeding the other one, in order to create this pipeline of customers, constantly returning to your business. N- Possibly you may have a narrow audience. So it could be a question of looking at your ideal audience and maybe adding an additional audience. You may have a long sales cycle, a small budget, or your products could be complex. The key to inbound marketing is to understand that your role as a business owner is to guide your visitors, guide your potential customers, and answer their questions, the questions that, have to do with the challenges they're facing. So you indeed are a wizard. From the moment that they land on your website or they call your business or happen to, walk into the doors of your business, you get to guide them through a journey of learning about your business, engaging with your business, and becoming the super fan of your business, where they're now bringing other people with them to discover your products and services. Every major global brand uses inbound marketing in their marketing strategies. This is not a strategy that is unavailable to small businesses. It is available. The only difference is, these companies have marketing departments that are able to slice and dice those marketing departments into specialties, and they may have a department that has an inbound specialty. And that's fine. But this strategy is low-hanging fruit for a small business owner. It's something that is free for you to do, right? And we know that in marketing, it's either you're doing it yourself or somebody else is doing it for you. But in this case, it's free for you to do. It's a tactic that we all here on this webinar, myself, are a part of when we're engaging with these brands. And I'm sure if you're looking at any of these logos, you can think about a time when you walked into the store and they asked for your email, you left, got an email, engaged with their website, and engaged with their social media and got to discover a new product or service or a new special offer. And in a gist, that's your inbound marketing. So the key to building an effective inbound marketing strategy is building a buyer persona, which is a fictional character that represents your ideal client, right? And so first we need to understand who is our target audience, the demographic of people that are mostly interested with our product and service. And after we're clear about who that demographic is, we want to create this fictional character. And I usually like to give this fictional character a name that represents their challenge, because then it allows me to create content that is more focused on adding value and speaking to how I solve for that challenge. Um, the the importance of a buyer persona is that as a small business owner, it allows you to create this data-driven persona, because now when you're speaking to this persona, you'll be able to measure your insights, right? Insights like your social media engagement, your email open rates, and really understand if your actually speaking to your buyer persona. It also allows you to determine which content distribution channels will reach your audience, right? So the buyer persona, because you know their challenges and their interests, you may understand that maybe your buyer persona is not on Pinterest, but they're on LinkedIn. And maybe they're not on Instagram at all. Maybe they're just on TikTok. So it allows you to use your time more efficiently and use the platforms that are available to you more efficiently. You want to know what is your ideal customer's background, their goals, their challenges, key demographics like, their gender, their age, their location, because then it's easier for you to create content according to those details. What are their interests? What are their needs? What incentivizes them when they're looking for your product or service, right? And where are they getting their information? How are they looking for your product and service? Because it'll help you determine, where you should be spending your time the most in your marketing efforts. So this is my buyer persona for my business. I have a digital marketing, a digital program, not a digital marketing program, a digital like accelerator program for women that have left corporate America and have their new entrepreneurship venture. And so you'll see that I have detailed, that I'm working with females 35 to 48 years old. They're usually living in urban areas because they are coming from that corporate workforce, and those are usually in big cities. Their income is between 50 and 200,000 because I want to make sure that they can afford my program. They usually have a bachelor's degree, so this gives me an idea of like how to relate to them. And then their occupation, right? Former corporate, early stage entrepreneur, solopreneur, consultant, usually in the e-commerce or creative service space. Their goals are usually to achieve financial freedom, and flexibility through entrepreneurship. They want to scale their business efficiently, maintaining work-life balance. And their challenges are usually they're struggling to maintain consistent growth after transitioning corporate America because they're not used to doing all the things by themselves. And more importantly, they want actionable steps on financial literacy, time management, marketing strategies, and generating revenue. Sorry, excuse me. So what does this information tell me? It gives me an idea of content that I want to use to attract them, right? Sorry. So the type of content I would be using is like video content, speaking of my own experiences. Sorry. Writing emails to them, about how to achieve flexibility and entrepreneurship. So I want you to think about building a buyer persona in this way. The reason I gave her the name Grace Hustleton is because she is a hustler, but she does it gracefully. So now that I know my buyer persona, and after you know your buyer persona, now we're going to dig deep into what it takes to take that buyer persona through this inbound marketing journey. And it's through this flywheel. So the flywheel, as I mentioned, I want you to think about, like a windmill, or even think about, when you go to the fairs and there's a Ferris wheel. What ends up happening is that somebody enters the Ferris wheel, right? The Ferris wheel is out there standing out in the whole, fair. Somebody enters the Ferris wheel, they get on and they go around the Ferris wheel, right? So they've been attracted. They're now engaging in the Ferris wheel because they're looking around and they're seeing like, what the views that they get to see from the Ferris wheel. And then they get off. They probably had an amazing experience. They saw things they didn't see before, and they grab a friend or a family member and pull them to join in the Ferris wheel again. Well, that's inbound marketing. That's what you want. You want leads to be attracted to your brand or business. You then want those leads to become prospects, and that's when you're engaging them. And once they're prospects, the idea is for them to become customers. And once they're customers, this is the most important part of it, because you want them to be returning customers, and not just returning by themselves, but being the super fan of your business, where they're bringing in friends and family and talking about your business to everybody that'll listen. So let's talk about the first stage in the inbound marketing strategy. The first stage is the attract stage. And the goal here is to generate more traffic and leads, right? So it's lead generation. So in this stage, what we want to do as business owners is that we want to attract visitors with useful content that eliminates any barriers to learn about your company. So I always tell my clients, like, this attract stage is your opportunity to shorten that sales cycle. Okay. So you want to earn people's attention without forcing it. Now, most of the times, I have clients that ask, well, how do I do that? How do I get more leads? Well, I added 5 ways here. Blogging is a great way to attract leads. It shows your thought leadership. It shows that you're an expert in the field. It allows you to highlight your products and services, and even share more details about how you solve people's problems through a blog than what you would be able to mention on your website, right? Blogging also helps with SEO. So, SEO is search engine optimization. And what that means is that you're using keywords, meta tags, meta descriptions that are clear and to the point, and words within the SEO that your potential customers would be using to find you, right? Organically. Next is social posting. So this is use social media posting, right? Another free way to market your business. Paid search ads are considered a lead gen, definitely in the attract stage, and display advertising. Paid search ads are like the Google search ads or Google local search ads. And then display advertising is, let's say I opened the weather app on my phone, I would see an ad from your business on my phone. All right, so let's move on to the next stage, which is the engage stage. And the goal here is to convert more leads and prospects, right? Because we want to lower the cost of acquiring these clients. It could get quite pricey. So we want to build trust with our leads. And the way we can do that is through our website. So our website should be super clear to our clients that when they land there, this is the place for them. They should see themselves, they should see their interests, their challenges, and how you solve them, right? And also on your website, there should be a place where you're taking information, email information, first name, last name, right? This is how they get to engage with your business and your brand. Then there's email personalization. And what I mean by this is that now that you have their information, you want to send them, an email just thanking them for visiting your website, or explaining, more about your products and services. Database segmentation is meant for, segmenting your audience. So for some business owners, you may have several different target audiences. Maybe one is B2B. It could be that you're selling your products and services to other businesses. And then the other one could be B2C, where you're selling to actual customers. Well, how you talk to each is going to be very different, right? How you talk to a business is not going to be how you talk to a direct customer. So that's what database segmentation means. It means you've segmented that database so that when you're writing emails or communicating with these target audiences, you're actually customizing the language to that audience. Then there's multi-channel communication, right? In today's market, we're not communicating in just one way. We're, sending a DM, we're making a phone call, sending follow-up emails, posting on social media. So all of these ways is how you get to engage with your ideal customer, and you get to use content to do that in a very effective way. Next is your and lastly is your delight stage. So now we're talking about these are your customers now, right? You've already attracted them, you've engaged with them, now they've bought your product and service. But this stage is about improving your customer retention, the customer lifetime value, and how to source referrals from these existing customers, right? We want to support and empower them to reach their goals, whatever goals they have in terms of using your products and services. And we also want to encourage them to create this buzz about brands and business. So how can we do that? Well, the first thing we can do is we can encourage them to mention us on social media. So this is where it's important where, if someone is buying a product and service, you can kindly ask them to, if they're going to post about it, to please mention your handle on their post, because then that brings more attention to your brand and your business. Reviews. This is when, you can kindly ask for a review and even give them, a little suggestion in terms of what you want to hear in that review, right? Because in today's market, most people are looking at Google to determine if they want to do business with a brand and business, and they want to read what other people's experiences have been. So this helps more customers find you. Word of mouth marketing, which is referrals, and this usually happens, at any given time. You definitely want to encourage that. If you're a networker and you're working, you've done some work with people within your network, that is a great opportunity for more word of mouth marketing. Customer loyalty program. This is so important, mostly used by retail companies, but I think any type of business can come up with a customer loyalty program. Lastly, user generated content. This is when, let's say I'm your customer and I, create content where I'm unboxing, and I'm sure you've seen this before on TikTok and Instagram. I'm unboxing something that I purchased. That's user generated content. If I decide to post about my experience at a restaurant, that's user generated content. So we want to encourage those things because these users tend to have an audience, and we want that audience to also have their eyes on our business. So why is it important to know your customer? And I mentioned earlier the buyer persona. We just went through this whole journey, right? The attract, engage, and delight journey. Well, we need to know our customer at every stage of their buying journey, okay? Because once we understand what they're thinking and feeling, we're able to nudge them towards making a purchase. In today's market, and I think these numbers are really important that as a business owner, 80% of consumers are more likely to make a purchase when brands offer personalized experiences. 67% of consumers think it's important for a brand to automatically adjust content based on current context. And I'm going to stop here. I'm sure everybody has received an email once or twice that you're just like, what does this have to do with me? Like, that's not for me. Well, that's what they mean by the brand and business automatically adjusting the content, segmenting your audiences. So that way the message hits directly and sparks a purchase. 42% of consumers get annoyed if brands don't adjust to their needs. So it's really important that you listen to your customers, that you're reviewing those reviews, that you're responding to those reviews, because often reviews, word of mouth marketing can hold nuggets for your business that can help you uncover a new revenue stream or even a whole new target audience. So I'm sure by now you're asking yourself, I'm a small business owner, like that's a lot of work. How do I do this at scale? And truthfully, you can do it by one, personalization. So understanding your brand, understanding your target audience. And secondly, automation. The global brands automate all this as well. And there are tools that you can add to your toolbox that can allow you to automate. Scaling doesn't always have to entail a person. Scaling can be streamlining your systems, adding technology to your business so that you can reach to your customers and give them what they're expecting, which is unique experiences with your brand and business, any tailored recommendations and dynamic content or exclusive offers that you may have. So I want to use this case study of JetBlue. I mean, these guys really know their brand and they really know how to segment an audience. In addition, they use technology to figure out our behaviors. Like, how are we searching for flights? What time of the year are we searching? Um, you know, what price points is it that we usually purchase within? So that allows them to segment their email list according to those like variables, and those are very few variables. And once they've done that, they now write emails that tend to be very cheeky because their brand is very much about being our best friend. They want us to be recurring customers and fly JetBlue whenever we can. So you'll see that the header of their email is usually personalized. It'll say, hey, in my case, hey, Michelle. Um, and it's always based on, past flying and search history. And then the copy, the words in the email tend to be very friendly. And sometimes they have a few jokes in there. So the key takeaway from JetBlue is know your brand, your voice. What is your tone, your voice that you use in emails? Personalize every email. And you should know that 99% of email users check their emails 20 times a day, literally 20 times a day. And emails are promotional. So try to be promotional without being pushy. The next case study is an e-commerce retail site. And I need to update the numbers on this because I think they're up to 16 million followers now. So ASOS is a brand that inspires loyalty from its customers. So their customers tend to post user created content. So many of their posts are actually created by people that have purchased their items from their brand and business. And they tend to engage their customers through various platforms. And this is why. It's because their creative director is super clear about who their buyer persona is. And so I'll read this quote from him. We're always evolving our content, social media strategy, and channel focus to ensure we're staying relevant to our fashion-loving 20-something-year-old customers, which was funny to read this myself because I'm clearly not 20 and I have purchased a few things from ASOS. But to read that they're so clear about, the age demographic and that they have to be fashion loving makes sense as to why they have this customer loyalty where they almost promote for the customer to like take a snap with their clothing and like send it to them. All right, so now we're going to talk about automation and technology because I'm sure you're like, okay, so they do this with automation technology. Well, what can I use? Well, here you go. So the way that these companies and you yourself can also scale your inbound marketing strategy is by using some technology that can automate all these things. So for example, for your social media posts, or if you want, to create alerts where you'll be alerted when somebody has posted or mentioned you in their post, Metricool is a really great planner. What I like about Metricool too is that it allows you to connect every single social media platform on there. Also your Google Analytics. It has amazing analytics just to let you know if your content is really, pushing the goalpost. Secondly is email automation platforms like MailChimp is one, ActiveCampaign, Contact, Klaviyo. I know there's a slew of them out there. It depends on your budget and your price point. But what I love about these is that the level of automation, the fact that you can segment your audiences, by behaviors, by, the type of products that they would want to purchase from you, and then create automatic flows where you can tell, these platforms, fire off this first email, but in 3 days, fire off this second email. If they don't open the email, send them this email instead, right? It gives you an opportunity to nudge them towards purchasing your product or service. Ad management platforms like AdRoll lets you manage like those Google search ads or display advertisement ads and automate them, and they use AI so they're able to tell you like what would be the most converting ads, which is incredible information to have as a business owner these days. And lastly, we want to use data to refine our campaigns. So where can we get that data from? I mentioned Metricool has data. MailChimp gives you data. It lets you know what your open rate is, how many, what your click-through rate is. That's important information that allows you to tweak the content that you're creating, and tweak the additional emails and posts you'll send out. Google Search Console is free. SEMrush is great for SEO, and you have Canva to build out, content, email campaigns, and Canva is built by designers, but there's a psychology to how all of those pre-built templates are made so that it engages the human eye and inspires them to make a purchase. All right, so back to where am I going to find the time? Well, I encourage you to use what many call time blocking. And the greats use this, like Jeff Bezos and all the great founders use this. I use this myself. But what you want to do is take a certain number of your tasks. So let's say if you need to create content, block out an hour or two just to create that content. Then block, another day with another hour or two to schedule all that content. And then block another day and another time frame for you to analyze all the analytics. The key is to be super intentional about how you want to grow your business, intentional with your content, intentional with the audience you're trying to attract, and intentional with your time to make sure that you are putting your marketing to work. So I'll leave you with this quote. It's by Harold Green, and it reads, "You read a book from beginning to end. You run a business the complete opposite way. You start with the end, and then you do everything you must to reach it." So I'll leave you with that. And at this moment, if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. There we go. I have the chat here. No. All right, let's see. What questions do we have? Will the slides be available after the session? Yes, they will be. You will get an email with a recording of this workshop and also the slides to this presentation. Let me just get over here.
Michelle, I have a question for you. Is the email automation expensive?
It gets expensive depending on the amount of contacts you have in your database, right? So, if you have less than 1,000, most of these platforms are free for that. But let's say if you have 10,000 or more and you're sending thousands of emails, throughout the week, that's when it starts to get increasingly expensive.
On top of that, we also have a upcoming webinar in regards email marketing 101. Because if you send multiple emails on a consistent basis, it could be also flagged as spam email. Is that correct?
Yes, right. So there's also ways to test your email to make sure that it's not spam. And I can share that with Jesus and he'll send it in the email as well. It's an email tester. So you run the email through this website and it'll tell you exactly what you need to fix. So maybe you have too many links on the email. Maybe you have too many emojis, too many pictures. All of that can tag your email to be spam.
And how about Wix as a possible domain?
I actually use Wix from my website. I'm biased. I love it. Um, I don't use the Wix email platform because I just don't think it's as robust as I need it to be, but that's just my needs. So if you're starting out, I think this is, Wix and the components that it has are great to utilize. But as your business starts to grow, you may need to look outside of Wix. And it's also really good not to have everything in one platform because, for God forbid something happens to Wix and they're down, you want another platform that you can communicate with your customers and let them know that your website is down.
And then on top of that, next week we're having a webinar of the 7 steps to create a website in Canva. So this definitely helps to continue the conversation from today's presentation as well. And then my colleague Azra put a link of all of the upcoming events that we have, as we have at least 1 or 2 events per day until December 19th. So it's a good opportunity for you to start enhancing, getting the understanding, the key concepts, so you can start implementing your 2025 goals today instead of starting January 1st as what are my goals for the year. But at the same time, on October 25th, we're having a small business resource fair. So you'll be able to connect with multiple small business organizations to assist you connect with them with some additional initiatives that will be able to provide additional tool in your business toolkit. And it's from 10 to 1 at the Coral Gables Public Safety Building. Now, Michelle, I have a question for you. What do you use for email/calendar platforms?
So for my calendar, like for scheduling, is it for scheduling? Like I use my calendar from Dubsado, which I use as a CRM. And I'm able to send emails out of Dubsado, but usually those emails are in reference to my proposal or like getting them to sign my agreement and pay my invoice. When I'm trying to market and like, market to new customers or market to my existing customers and keep them engaged, I'm using a platform called Klaviyo because it syncs with Wix really nicely. It allows like that pop-up, that light box. I'm able to create it on Klaviyo and it automatically adds it to Wix for me. So whenever I have a new offer or a new download, I'm able to do that easily on Klaviyo.
Also, if there's any particular questions, I put my email address in the chat. So that I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you, provide you the necessary tools that you're seeking as well.
And also I wanted to clarify, like this inbound marketing strategy, every single business should be using this. This is such low-hanging fruit, right? I want you to think about, I'll share my story. When I walk into Sephora, there's not one time that I walk in and there's not somebody there, greeting me. That's customer retention right there, guiding me to like the products that I want to buy, offering me another product maybe I haven't considered in addition to the products I want to buy. And then when I get to, or I'm trying to get to the cash register, there's, all these little samples that I'm grabbing as I get to the register. And once I'm there, what do? They always ask me for either my customer loyalty, number or the phone number it's attached to, or if I'm a new customer, they're asking me if I want to be part of the rewards program. It doesn't end there though, right? Now, Sephora has information about what I just purchased, and they know my journey from the moment that I walked into the store. So now I'm receiving emails from them about what I purchased, other items that would go well with my purchase. They also know how long it takes for me to go through my purchase, right? So I may be using the product for 30 days, 45 days. They're sending me emails that I need to replenish my product. So these are the tactics that are available to you as a small business owner. It's just understanding the systems that you're using, taking the time to build them out correctly. And it could help you increase your revenue by 20, 30% if you take the time to really understand the technology that's out there for you, or the existing technology you have right now that you're not even tapping into.
Okay, I think there's all the questions have been answered. But once again, any way that we can assist you with your business needs, don't hesitate, shoot us an email, as I will be more than happy to connect you with the appropriate consultant to assist you with your business needs. I want to thank you, Gabby, Azra, and Michelle for today's presentation. But I also want to thank all the participants that were present today. So once again, this is a recorded webinar. All participants will be receiving today's presentation. And looking forward to seeing you at the next events or consulting sessions. So thank you all and have a good afternoon.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.